My initial inspiration for Here There Are Blueberries was an article I read in the New York Times. In the front page of the New York Times, I happen to have this was the New York Times, and here was a photo of the album.
Wow. Oh my God.
And it was the front page, and as you can see, this is the photo of people, laughing and playing an accordion and having a good time. And my father is a Holocaust survivor, and I always wanted to write a play about the Holocaust, but the Holocaust is the event that has been most written about in history. And it's the event that most films have been made and most books have been written and more television show. It's been it's been very widely covered. So I never knew what else there was for me to say about it. I felt that most of the things that needed to be said about it had been said. But when I saw these photographs, I thought this is new. These photos had just emerged, and that they chronicle the life of the people who run the deadliest concentration camp the Germans ever built, which was Auschwitz. They killed 1.1 million people in that camp. And so I became really intrigued by the photos because if you look at these photos, they look like daily life. Um, if you don't know that outside of the frame they're killing all of these people, you would never know. And so the album was donated to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. And that's how this whole thing started. And that's why it made the front page of the New York Times. And so I found out who was the archivist who had received the album. And I found her on Facebook. And I texted her and I said, "My name is Moises Kaufman. I run a theater company and um, I would love to interview you to see if there's a play here." And that was Rebecca Arbelding. And she wrote back immediately. She said, "Oh, my college just did the Laramie project. I know your work very well. I would love to talk to you." So it was very serendipitous. So I went to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and I met with her, and we were supposed to meet for 2 hours, and we met for 3 days. And what really struck me about her was that she was a detective. She took these photographs and she began decoding what it could tell us about the camp, about life in the camp. Uh, and so she began to identify everybody in the album, and she saw Mengele, Joseph Mengele, and then she saw Rodolph Höss, who was the man who built Auschwitz, and then she started identifying everybody who was in the album, and then she started identifying dates and what was happening in the camp while the photographs were taken. So she really was a Sherlock Holmes. And I thought, oh, that's the play. The play is about a detective trying to figure out what this album of photographs can yield. And that's the play we wrote.